All right, back for the DSP, joined with me, Michigan artist and someone that I've wanted to chat to for a minute now. His name is Stephen Malcolm. My bro, thank you for taking the time, and also thank you for the music that you've been producing and releasing over the last few years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No doubt, man. Appreciate you having me, man. And it's a pleasure to be here, my brethren.
How has life been out for you? You know, we're in Australia, you're in America. The last couple of years have been pretty tough.
Yeah.
For you musically, has it been an inspiring time, or has it been a real kind of struggle?
Yeah, man. It was a struggle. I'm going to be honest, man. During the pandemic, I didn't write anything. Like, I was not inspired. I was just in the house. My wife was pregnant, and I was just, yeah, man. But now, man, now is a different story. Now things are slowly opening up. You know what I'm saying? There's precautions being taken so that events can happen. And me, like, my favorite part of being an artist is the live concerts. And so that was taken away. And so I feel like that's where, you know, all my inspiration really went away. So getting better, though.
Yeah. So that the EP that you released this year, All Is True. So are we saying that music was all recorded and written prior to COVID then?
Yes, sir. That mug was written November of 2019. Straight up.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Except Glory on Me. Glory on Me was not. Glory on Me, I wrote during the pandemic. That was literally the only song. Like, and they had to force me to write it. Like, I was going to the boxing gym every day. My guy called me like, man, you in the gym more than you in the studio. What's going on? Finish this EP. So, yeah, man.
What was the decision process for yourself like to go, all right, I'm going to drop an EP? Because you've dropped albums before. So it kind of is almost working the reverse process of what artists mostly do.
Yeah. For me, it was working with Street Symphony. That's the producer. His team called Track or Die produced the whole EP. And so I always wanted to work with him. Like, he produces for some of my favorite artists. And so when I first got signed to a label, I just would sit with this cat and just want wisdom from him. I would just be like, yo, give me 5 minutes of your time. Like, he knows the streets, he knows the industry, the game, hip hop. And so let me just get some gems real quick. And then the opportunity came to do an EP together. And so, yeah, man, I was just like, let's get it. So flew me to West Palm Beach, ironically. And yeah, man, we knocked out the EP in like 4 nights, man. It was like the first time like this guy had me, like I was expecting like morning sessions in the studio. I'm calling this dude at 10 a.m. I'm up ready to go. And then he hits me back at like 2 p.m. like, hey man, come to the studio at 4. And then we was there from 4 p.m. to like 6 a.m., man. That's how they work, man.
What was that for you like, you know, having this dream to work with this producer and to be able to, I guess, tick that off and add that to, you know, something that you had dreamed about doing?
Yeah, it was great, man. It was an amazing feeling, especially when it released and like the response I got from it. The response I got was exactly like, it was like I knew, like I know good music when I hear it, you feel me? And so the whole EP, man, like I trusted Street Symphony's brand. I trusted his ear, his team's ear, and he trusted me with the lyrics, man. And so I feel like we made like a really good, just like foundation to what's about to come next. So yeah, man.
Where did music, I guess, start for you? Because you have this, I guess, sound that feels like it's pulled from a lot of different areas and a lot of different genres of music.
Yeah.
And then it also falls into this gospel sound as well.
Yeah, man. So, and it's crazy because I've been thinking about that, and because somebody was just like, man, you're the type of artist where you could just like do any genre and you'll sound good. And I thought about it, and I thought about my inspirations musically, and it all started with Michael Jackson. And that was when I was younger. I started dancing before I even wrote anything. I seen Michael Jackson on TV, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to move my body like that. And so I started doing that and got really good at dancing. And then my father's Jamaican, and so all he had playing in the house was Bob Marley. And
Mhm.
so then I grow up and then I get introduced to breakdancing and in the hip hop culture. And then I get saved and get introduced to like gospel music. So it's just like my life has just been it's just I've been inspired by just more than just one sound musically. And so it just all culminates into just one. And then me deep down at the root of everything, I grew up in the hip hop culture. And then, you know, the foundation of why I do music is my faith, is driven by the faith. So it just all makes sense.
Let's talk about this faith and the fact that, you know, your music is driven by God and believing and gospel music. For you, you know, like you said, growing up outside of that and still being musically inclined, was it easy to then turn those beliefs and those values into music, or did it take a bit of time to figure out how you kind of would do that?
It happened naturally, man. I would say it just happened just naturally because I took my time with it. Like, I didn't even want to become a musician in my mind until 2011. And I was like 20 years old by that time, like 19, 20 years old. And so my thing was like, okay, you know, where I come from in the streets, like I believe like if you're going to talk about some gangster stuff, please be a gangster. If you're going to talk about dope dealing, please sell some bricks. And I just came from that. Like all my homies was real. I was a talented basketball player. So I didn't talk about all that crazy stuff. I just, you know, pulled a lot of girls and, you know what I'm saying, did my thing on the court. And so when I became a Christian and I gave my life to God, I was like, yo, who am I to like, if I'm going to start rapping about it, like I should really be about it. I should really know about this. I should really like walk it out. And it's just that mentality that I had like growing up in the streets of like, if you say you're about this, then be about it. And so when I gave my life to Jesus, man, it was just like, all right, like everything that I do is going to be centered around my faith. And so in the church, I just started leading worship at the church. And man, the career with the music just took off, and it will always just stay Christ-centered because that's why I started. Like if I didn't give my life to God, I wouldn't be doing music. I would have still pursued a basketball career. I would have went to college for criminal justice and maybe would have been like a police officer or something with a lot of baby mamas. Straight up.
So let's talk about gospel music, because when you're talking about gospel music, you can't not talk about what Kanye's done, you know, over the last few years. And it's really interesting because we were supposed to chat last week prior to Donda album coming out. And I had been listening to your music and then kind of sitting with your EP. And then the last week or the last few days, I've been sitting with the Donda album, and I pull so many similarities in the style and the sound and the grandiosity-ness of, you know, the production on both. What has Kanye done for gospel music in your mind? And also, how do you feel about, I guess, this new album that he's released recently?
Man, to be 100 with you, I feel like Kanye has, and I hate to say it. I'm trying to think of the like proper way, man, to say it. I feel like Kanye has made it okay to be boastful about God in your music again. I feel like Christian hip hop went through this weird phase of like people just trying to be accepted in the mainstream and secular culture that, you know what I'm saying, like we just lose this drive of like, yo, like there needs to be people that are just on fire. Like, yo, this is what I do. This is what I stand for. Like my cousin, to this day, he's like almost 30 and still like throws up GD, which is like a gang. And I'm like, bro, you're almost 30. Like, stop going hard for this gang that we went hard for when you were 15. But it's just like, man, like you see his passion that he stands for something. And I think Kanye, he's taken on that mantle of, yo, I'm unashamed of this gospel. God is in my music. I'm a Christian artist, gospel artist, and that's just what it is. I ain't trying to be accepted by nobody, by no Christians, by no mainstream artists. I'm doing what God has called me to do. And that's what I think Kanye's really did with what he's doing. And What was the second one that you asked me?
And talk to me about Donda. You know, have you
Yeah,
sat with the full album? Have you
yeah.
gone through it, picked it apart like a real hip hop head does?
Granted, it hasn't been out that long. I've
Mm-hmm.
listened to it, and this is what I think, and this is what I know from being like, you know, a Christian artist where I used to like, I was rapping like a year prior before, like, you know, like really taking it serious with my homies. And so like I've rapped in both like type of circles. And so when I first like gave my life to God and then came out my first CD, um, it was so like, you know, you're quoting Bible scriptures every bar, and it's like, Jesus, thank you for this day, Lord, I pray, like type rhymes, you know what I mean? As a new
Mm-hmm.
Christian, which I expected it because I did the same thing. And that's what made me believe him for the Jesus is King album. Okay, like, you know, I feel like in his content, and I hear like he's really, you know, following the Lord and really trying to portray it in his music. But I felt like with Jesus is King, like the music really wasn't there. Like his faith
Mm-hmm.
was there, the music wasn't there. With Donda, the music is there, the faith is there. There's some tracks that are just too Kanye for me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, yeah.
That should really be a phrase, because he's just an amazing producer who he's just outside the box, period. So some tracks are like, too much, but I get, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. But some
Mm-hmm.
tracks I love, man. Some tracks I love. Hurricane, God Breathe.
Jail Part 1 and 2. I'm about to do an edit and put them all in one for our radio show so that I can have Kanye,
Yeah,
Jay-Z, and DaBaby all on the same record.
all on one, man. I wonder why he made them different parts, man. It is
Hey,
crazy.
only Kanye will know. Only Kanye knows the answer to that question, bro.
Dude, okay, so listen, Kanye, he's on another planet. Like, so I downloaded the project and it didn't have Jail Part 2. And so I'm like listening to it, and then it cut off, and I'm trying to like click the thing and it's not working. And so literally like, yeah, he took it off and then he put a new one on. And
Yeah.
I was trying to look for the credits. Like people like Complex and Hype Beast, they posted the track listings and the credits like earlier in the day when it first dropped. And so then in the nighttime, I was trying to show my boy, and yo, all those were gone. I could not find the credits because he like had to add more. Like, I'm like, yo, only could Kanye at the moment could have all these platforms delete the stuff, repost, and then Apple Music take. Like, man, that's Kanye, man. Kanye West.
He's pulling the strings, bro. He truly is the puppeteer
You
of, you
know,
know, this show that he puts on. For
yeah.
you as a gospel artist, did you ever feel, or do you ever feel that you kind of are niched into, you know, a certain box?
Absolutely, my brethren. Listen, I've had conversations where I'm like, you know, yo, I'm Stephen Malcolm. Okay, what you do? I'm a hip hop artist, you know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, word. How'd you get started? Man, I went to church and gave my life to God, and then I just started rapping. Oh, so you're a gospel artist, right? I'm a rapper. I'm a hip hop artist, and so yeah, and I would do the same thing though. That's what I tell people, because me, before I was saved, I didn't know there was such thing as Christian hip hop. I didn't know of any lecrae or no type
Mm-hmm.
of world of Christian hip hop. And so I would do the same thing if like someone came up to me, yo, I'm a rapper. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, you rap about God. Okay, we're a gospel artist. So yeah, man, but I don't care, man. Like, and this is the one thing too about Kanye, and this is why I'm so glad he's doing what he's doing. You think of Bob Marley, and what
Mm-hmm.
was he? He was a real big image of Rastafarians, right? Of like, you know, Haile Selassie and you know, Jah Rastafari, and he was so like everywhere he would go, he would like talk to people about being Rasta, about the faith that they believed in as Rastas. And he would have these big Haile Selassie flags behind him, and he was just so unashamed of his faith. And then I feel like the 90s with like Wu-Tang and all these rappers, like they were Muslims. And you know, a lot of like in the black culture, like Muslims, they're just big. And so that became a thing in hip hop. Just Muslims, you know, pray to the Quran, woo woo. They're so unashamed. But you know, they're not putting that oh, you're a crit type thing. So
yeah, no one's like, you're a Muslim rapper. It's
exactly
not thrown around. You're like, Nas is a Muslim rapper, you know? It's no one says that. It's not a sentence that people talk about.
Yep. And no, in reggae, like reggae, they all talk about their faith. Like reggae is just Christianity driven, you could basically say, gospel driven, you could basically say. But it's, you know, it's to be expected. But yeah, bro, to me, it's just like, it is what it is now, man.
You mentioned Lecrae, and I used to work at Power 106 in LA, and he was the first, I think, gospel artist that we actually put on the Powerhouse stage for, you know, a concert that wasn't revolved around gospel music and Christianity. Was that someone that you kind of have looked at over the years as a bit of inspiration within that kind of area?
Yeah, man. Yeah, he is. Like, he's the first Christian rap song I heard was Lecrae's song, Breathing Death, man. And yeah, we used to, like, you know, cover his songs at the church, man. And so what he's done with Christian hip hop, like really putting it on the map and really making a way for people like me, bro. Like, that's what it is, man. So yeah, Lecrae, he's a huge inspiration, man. He's dope.
Let me talk about this Childish Major feature that's on the EP, because I'm, you know, such a massive Childish Major fan. How did that kind of come about for you, you know, and him jumping on this EP?
Street Symphony, man. Street Symphony just showed him the record and just told him about me. And so then I get a follow from him. And yeah, man, the rest is history. He hit me up like, yo, it's a dope record. He rocking with it. And yeah, man, the rest is history, bro. Yeah, he's super dope, man. And like, the one thing that makes things special to me is when like I meet people and then they're genuine and they're down to earth, man. So at the video shoot, yeah, man, same dressing room. We was chopping it up, talking about life, talking about marriage, about, you know, singleness, and just talking about life, man. So he's just a down-to-earth human being, which made me love him and made me a bigger fan even more, you feel me? And it just makes me really love the record, too, because I know he genuinely loves it. Cool cat, exchange numbers, we talk now, we chop it up, so he's dope, man. So I love that whole thing, man.
Has there been any other artists or any, you know, people that you've looked up to over the years that have reached out or showed love, or, you know, you've got to really, you know, pick their mind, that kind of stand out as moments in your career so far?
Man, Shaggy, bruh. Shaggy. Hey, listen, let me tell you.
My man Shaggy, yes.
Let me tell you the story. So the record took forever to come out because of paperwork and lawyers. You know that whole thing, right? So Shaggy, he was signed to 2 record labels, one in America and then an overseas one. And yo, I needed this record to come out because I needed to follow up with my EP, with the All Is True. And so, yo, I'm not getting anything from the emails, but Shag, like, I had his number. He gave me his number. So, bro, I'm burning his line. I'm hitting him up daily. He's not answering. I leave a message, and then I'm like, yo, can you get at your lawyer? He would call me back like, okay, I'm going to holler at my lawyer today. 2 days, 3 days go by. I text him, and then he would text me back. All right, I got you. 3 days would go by. Then I'd leave him a voice message like, yo, this is Shaggy, bro. I'm like burning his line. But, like, I really cared, man. Like, I wanted to get it out. So finally, it comes out, and it's dope. And they set up Instagram Live with me and Shaggy on the day of release. And Shaggy, they asked Shaggy, like, you know, something that you can, you know, tell Steven as a young artist. And he said that he appreciated and loved the way how I was so persistent and hitting him up all the time, because nobody's going to care about your career more than you are. So, Steven, that's exactly what you needed to do. And, man, that felt so good, man. That felt so good.
That's so dope, bro. Shaggy, one of the OGs, and you hit the nail on the head. I tell that to artists all the time, and even in life, you know what I mean? No
Yeah,
one is going to care about where you're heading and what you can get more than yourself. So don't leave it in someone else's hands, you know?
yeah, bro.
It's just the way
Facts,
it is.
facts.
Is there a Snoop Dogg story? Is there something with Snoop that gone on, bro?
Listen, man. So Snoop Dogg, he is my first favorite rapper. So when I, saying, got into hip hop, it was because I seen the video Gin and Juice. And I seen
Mm-hmm.
his big afro. And so I grew out my hair to a big afro. And then
Yes.
listen, so I moved states. I moved from Florida back up to Michigan. And I was gonna be a new student at school. And you know how when you're a new student, you either do something to stand out or you just fall back. And
Yeah.
me, like, I wanted to do something to stand out. So what I did was I memorized, Snoop Dogg did like a freestyle on the Arsenio Hall show. And I memorized this freestyle in sixth grade. And went to school and told everybody that was my rap. Like I was rapping it and everybody was blown away. And I'm like, yeah. So I was a popular kid the first day of school because I bit a Snoop Dogg freestyle from Arsenio Hall show.
Isn't that the one of the funniest things? Because back then, without like so much YouTube and so many, access to music and stuff, people couldn't fact check. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't the availability to do that. So this is my lyrics. Be like, damn, shit, that's wild.
Yo, hey,
Well,
everybody was blown away.
I hope Snoop hears that story and he comes one day and asks for some royalties from you.
Straight up. Yeah, man, I gotta share that story with him, man. That's such a full circle moment.
I love it, bro. Well, the EP is amazing. I love the sound. I love what you've done with it. It really is a body of work, and I think something that you should be proud of. And if you haven't listened to All Is True yet, go out and listen to it and check my brother Stephen Malcolm out, man. I appreciate your time, and you always got a home on the DSP, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Appreciate you again for having me, my guy.